Google's CEO says he canceled a meeting meant to address a controversial memo for safety reasons. The 10-page document written by former employee James Damore criticized the tech giant's diversity initiatives. It included statements that women are more neurotic than men. Damore wrote that this may contribute to the lower number of females in the tech industry. Google's CEO Sundar Pichai sent a company-wide email explaining why he called off the town hall meeting to address that memo. He said the company needs to step back and create a better set of conditions for us to have a discussion. Megan Smith is the former U.S. Chief Technology Officer during the Obama administration and a former VP at Google. Megan, welcome.
Thank you.
Are you surprised by all that you're hearing here now recently about Google, and was your experience similar to what you've heard?
Yeah, you know, this isn't specific to Google, but the tech industry it's an extraordinary industry. It's so fun to work in, but a lot of young women of all races, men of color, face a lot of challenges because of these kind of insidious perspectives that are around.
Did you hear people say stuff like this?
Sure.
You did?
Yeah, and you know, you hear it all day, or we call it death by a thousand cuts. You know, it's just all around. But there's also wonderful aspects. And so the leadership that Sundar is showing here is important to make sure we discern between, and get people like this to not be able to inflict these kinds of opinions, which are not based on science. This is solvable. One of the greatest challenges that people face are, if, for example, when we watch television, we're seeing all this bias. In children's TV, it's 15-to-1, boy programmers to girl programmers. We just see that, and so it teaches our hidden figures. We don't know. You have a lunar module, beautiful over here. People don't know about Margaret Hamilton. She led the software for that. Women and men have always done technology in our country and around the world.
Which is why movies like that are so important.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Why do you think that there is a lack of female representation in technology? Why?
To come into technology, you need a couple things. You need to know that people like you do it, which is part of this, telling this truth stories. Ada Lovelace is the original creator of algorithms in the 1800s. No one knows that a woman or Grace Hopper created computer languages. Women did this. You need to try it. So we got to get this into our schools. 9 out of 10 parents want coding taught at school. We took freshman biology. Let's all take coding. And let's have code boot camps and other things. We're on a tech jobs tour right now. We're going to be in West Virginia and Kentucky. This week we're just in San Francisco, all over the country, getting people. And we have 600,000 jobs open in the United States right now. They pay 50% more than the average American salary. They're fun. We want more people in tech, and we got to get rid of the biases that make people feel uncomfortable and leave the industry.
Well, it appears that the CEO of Google, Sundar Pichai, agrees. He wrote an email to employees saying, quote, "Portions of the memo violate our code of conduct to suggest a group of our colleagues have traits that make them less biologically suited to that work is offensive and not okay." Did you yourself ever experience any kind of bias when you worked there?
Not so much, in Google. Yes, I think you feel it in.
Yes, at Google.
Yes, in all of the jobs that I've been in. Even in my own family, my grandfather was a fabulous engineer. He worked at U.S. Steel. He built the highways in Indiana. When I went to engineering school, he said to my mom, "Why would she want to do that?" Right? So he couldn't see his granddaughter doing this. Google's wonderful. Sundar's one of the greatest people I've ever worked with. And many of my colleagues there. Susan Wojcicki wrote a wonderful piece. Who's the CEO of YouTube, about her daughter asking, is it really true, Mom? It's not true. It's just not true. But these are old ideas that persist, and people bring them up, and we have to really we have to help these young engineers evolve out. And they're seeing an echo chamber because of the imbalance. They imagine somehow their idea is correct. It's not.
Well, James Damore, who wrote that memo we're talking about here, says he was wrongfully terminated for what he was told perpetuating gender stereotypes. And of those polled, more than half of Google employees say he shouldn't have been fired. What do you think? Should he have been?
I'm not going to comment on what they did individually, but, I'm on the board at MIT, and Chuck Vest, who was president in the 90s, there was an amazing survey done in the research area, lab space, grants, promotions for women versus men and the academic field. And he wrote at the head of that, he said, I always thought it was part myth and part true. Now I know the better fact that it's almost all reality. And so this is real. People face this discrimination, but we can solve it. And I'm really proud of what Google is doing, to step back and really work on that. They've been doing this for years. You're seeing Intel and Slack and other companies really stepping forward, moving the priority.
But not enough.
No, I think I think they can do more, all of the companies. But what's been nice is to see leadership of people taking this, you know, this is in their top 20 priorities. Let's move it to the top 3 to 5 because we want to field the whole American team on our hardest problems, right? And these are hard problems also as we get into artificial intelligence and machine learning. We need to make sure that we're not running discrimination into the algorithm. So we want everybody in.
Megan Smith, thank you very much. Fascinating discussion.